and we are so glad that you can join us here with the Scott County Public Library in Georgetown, Kentucky. Happy fall, y'all. It's feeling a little bit cooler. So we broke out our fall colors today and all of our great fall crafts, and we have a cool bag with everything you see here.
Okay, so this is our fall Take&Make craft bag that you can stop by and pick up. And so I'm just going to go through what's in the bag to begin with. So it looks like we have a piece of purple paper, and that purple paper is going to go with your
Purple bat.
Your purple bat.
That's right.
And this is where you're going to make your hands.
You're going to trace your little hands to make the bat wings on your bat.
There you go.
That's our first craft.
And then we have a spider web.
Oh yeah.
And we also have a Spidey to go in it. So those are AccuCut pieces for just fall.
And you can jazz up your spider web with glitter glue or markers. So lots of fun things you can do. And we just made a little fall scene here with ours with our pumpkin.
Yeah. And we have other like leaves and a pumpkin. More leaves. And we also have the bigger craft that we're actually going to show you today, one of them. We have a little cup with an acorn, and this leaf, the acorn leaf, goes with this.
It's a little Dixie cup squirrel.
Yes. And so you'll also, you want to hold up your Dixie or your squirrel template.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the one. So that squirrel template will be in the bag also.
Yep, that'll be in there, and you just cut out the parts, and I'll show you how to assemble it. It's super easy.
And we have another pumpkin. That's just a random cut that you're going to use on your paper.
And you can make a little Halloween or fall scene.
So that's most of them. So the last one is the thing that I'm going to be showing you how to do, and it's going to come, there's a piece of tracing paper, and you will also get a card folded up for you already with an insert of another color. We're kind of following it up, and we're going to do a leaf rubbing with this. So that's all the contents of the bag, and so we can get started. Take it away.
All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is easy peasy show you our little bat. You're going to get our little bat, and you can glue on googly eyes or color him or whatever you need to do, and then take your piece of paper that's purple that matches and have your little ones hold their hands, and you trace it out, and that's how you get the cute little bat wings for a spooky little bat with their handprints on. That's a cute keepsake for how tiny their hands are when they are little. And we also have in here, I forgot to put this in, but an umbrella template. So if you are interested in making a little 3D umbrella for our rainy days, all the parts are here. You just cut these 5 parts out, and you'll roll them, and we'll make that today as well. But I'm going to start off with our cute little squirrel. So you have your Dixie cup, right? And once you cut out these parts, you've got the body, the arm, the wrap, and the tail. You're going to start by taking your long strip and wrapping it around the Dixie cup, and you should see that it fits just perfectly because Miss Rosey really measured this time. It really fits good. And you can use Scotch tape or glue. Glue might not hold quite as well, but you cover your cup, and once it's covered, you can get another little piece of tape here, and I'm going to make a tape donut, and I am going to glue or tape on the little tail to the back. So I'm going to take the tail and just stick it right on, maybe a little angle there. And then on the front, you're going to put on your cute little squirrel body, and you can give him some pink cheeks or maybe some whiskers. You're going to stick him on the front like that. And now the most important part, there's an acorn in your bag, and you're going to take your little acorn and put that on the front with a little bit of tape. This is a very fast craft, right? Let me see, I think I'm going to put it this way, like that. And then you finally have a little paw. That's his little tiny hand that's holding the acorn. We're going to take some tape and stick it on so that it looks like he's holding tight onto his acorn because he's so hungry. There we go. And last but not least, you know those squirrels, when they're digging around in the trees, they are always getting stuff stuck in their tail. And this little guy has got a little oak leaf stuck in his tail. And there you have it, your cute little Dixie cup squirrel.
He's awesome. He can be used to put on your set placements.
Yes, and if you get really excited, you can trace all these pieces out on other pieces of paper. You can make a gray squirrel and a brown squirrel, or a dark black squirrel, or dark brown squirrel, and more Dixie cups. You can make place settings for everybody at Thanksgiving dinner. So there is that. All right, do you want to tell them about the leaf ribbon?
Okay, so here's what we have.
Like put all the stuff back in the bag.
Yeah. So like I said, we have in the bag tracing paper, and you're gonna have a card and an insert. Now I will tell you about this little insert. I gave you the full half sheet. You're gonna need to cut that down a little bit because you don't want it to be exactly matching unless you do. And then if you do, then just go ahead and glue it in. So I'm gonna glue stick them in first. And the whole point of this being a different color for me is just to make it more colorful for fall and fun, you know, so you don't have, spice up your card making game.
It's fun to give out Thanksgiving cards. Maybe you want to give it to someone who you're really thankful for, like your bus driver or your school cafeteria worker.
So then it'll look a little bit like this, right? So let me go ahead and tell you how to make your window. Now we're going to do a soft roll to the corner. And parents, you will probably have to do this a bit.
I'm going to zoom in closer on you so that they can see you.
Okay.
That way they can get a good close-up of it.
Okay. So you're going to do a little soft roll. And this is, I'm just showing you how I got my window. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can do it a totally different way. But I'm just cutting in 2 lines. And you don't want to cut it all the way to the back because we're just going to make a window. Let me show you what I mean. See that? And then we're going to go ahead and cut down. 2 cuts, 2 line cuts in the same direction, parallel. And then you got yourself a little window. So that's what we're working with. And that's when this little ditty is going to come in handy. So you're going to need to collect yourself some leaves, because what we have, what you're going to need for yourself, leaves, crayons or pencils, marker, and glue sticks, and some tape. So Miss Mary Lou brought me some very beautiful leaves. And for the first one, I will show you the one that I did already. It looks like this. And I just diddied up the outside and put Happy Fall in there. And so parents, you can help your kids write whatever they need written in there, and then they can gift it. But here's the fun thing about the leaf rubbing. Let me show you. I'm going to use crayon this time. That actually, what I showed you was a colored pencil. So here's, I believe that's tulip. So I'm going to put this down and put my tracing paper over it for those of you who may not have done it. And because my card is pink and blue, I'm going to do kind of a red, a ruby red, folly red. And I'm just going to go over it. And yes, it is really pretty. So the thing I would warn you to be careful and make sure you do is go over the outside edges, because that gets you all of your veins, and it gets the outline of your leaf, and you just hold it and rub right on through. You're being careful to hold down your leaf, and you're also being careful to hold down the piece of paper that you're doing. Now you can see mine has moved a little bit, but that's okay. And I like a little bit of stem in there. So, and there's the pretty little leaf. So, after you do that, I'm just going to cut. These are kind of bigger leaves, so I know that it's going to fill that window. And so I'm going to try to make it as square as possible so that when I tape it in the inside, or yes, it's at least flush with the paper and the inside, and I'll show you what I mean. So that's what I did. And so let's see if I need to cut it down anymore. And I don't know.
Perfect.
Yeah, you might just want to see the little leafiness of it. and it kind of goes. But you move it to however you want it to look.
Maybe you want to do multiple little leaves.
Yes,
multiple little
that's
leaves
it.
And have them all
Yes,
in there.
that's it. So you might want to do that, and that might work out better. Mine just happened to be bigger leaves. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit more so that I can, when I tape it, it's all in. Okay, so yeah. So there's that. And here we got some tape. Tip, tip, tip. And here you go. And so there's your sweet little leaf rubbing as the front of your card. And there you go.
That's so cute.
And yep, and you can embellish the outside.
All right. So we've given you lots of little things to make your Halloween scene here.
Yeah.
And with the pumpkin, I put on just a fun little scary pumpkin face and put those all together. And the last craft we're going to demonstrate is our little 3D umbrella, which I just love. It's super cute. You can hang it. You can put little leaves in it maybe for decoration. Or if you have a flat piece of paper, you can actually turn it into a 3D card if you want to give that to someone as well. So you will be getting the sheet with the 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles and the handle and the front. And I don't know if you can see that very well. But once you cut it out, you've got these little triangle shapes and your umbrella. So there's your little umbrella handle. And all you have to do to get this shape, these cone shapes, can you see they're cones? They're like little ice cream cones. All you have to do is this. Now watch, you take your 2 fingers like you're making a scissor with your fingers, and you're gonna put the beginning of your triangle in your fingers. And then with a little bit of tape in your hand, you might have to have a big person help you. You're gonna fold that other end over like a cone and give it a little tape, and voila, super easy. So once you get all 4 of these rolled and taped, it's super easy to get your umbrella. So let's get this next one. Roll, and oops, I missed that one. I got my points wrong. Go. Go. So that's 3. Last one. Here we go. And roll. And I made them just all the same length and size. So now that you've got your 4 cones, they are not funny noses. They are 4 cones. You're going to put them so that the tape that you just taped is facing up towards you. And you're going to arrange them like the bottom of an umbrella, just like that, right? And this is the fun part. So for those of you who love tape, this is where you get to take a big piece of tape like this and go across all 4 and tape them together. Ta-da! Now they're all taped together. Then all you have to do is add on your umbrella handle in one of the backs here. Put that on there. And then this on the front here is the little nose on the ends of your umbrella. Sometimes they have those little caps that help keep the points clean when you're walking with your umbrella. And oh, here's the wrong side. We're going to stick that on at the very bottom of your umbrella here. Put that on. And that. And there you have it, voila, a cute little 3D umbrella. And like I said, if you wanted to mount it to a piece of paper and make it a card, you can fill it with leaves, you can fill it maybe with little mints or candies for someone, or you maybe even want to draw some raindrops like a rainy day. And of course, just because I have it upside down doesn't mean you have to put it upside down. You can put it right side up. So there's our cute little umbrella craft, and if you wanted to, you can put your pumpkin that we've given you in here and embellish your umbrella with the pumpkin, or maybe you want to just stick a couple of leaves falling down around your umbrella as well. So we've given you some great things, some cutouts that you can use. That is our fall craft bag. I hope you have lots of fun doing this craft and enjoy the little squirrel and bat. And the leaf rubbing is one of my favorite things to do in the fall. And thank you, Miss Yolanda.
Yes.
And we will see you at the library. And stay tuned. Make sure you see Miss Mary Lou's review of the Wish Tree. It's a great book, and it tells you how to do a wish tree in your backyard. Another great fun family craft if you would like to do that as well. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Miss Mary Lou, and I'm here at the Scott County Public Library celebrating Tree Week. Oh my gosh, isn't it wonderful? It's such a beautiful kind of cloudy fall day while we're filming this, and I'm sitting here under a redbud tree that is going to be losing all of its leaves really soon because, you know, fall is here. I want to talk to you about one of my very favorite books, and it's called WISHTREE. And it was written by Katherine Applegate. And I probably should tell you who illustrated it because there's some really beautiful pictures in here. The illustrations are by Charles Santoso. And you look, he's done all these beautiful sketches all throughout the book. And I'm going to show you some pictures in just a minute as I talk about this book. It is an old Irish custom on May the 1st to take a piece of paper, well, in Ireland it's done on a piece of fabric, like this, or a piece of ribbon, like this. We got all, oh boy, Miss Roseanne gave me all kinds of ribbons here. It's lovely. Or you can even do it on a piece of paper. We had a wish tree here one year, and we put out paper wishes. And what you do is you, in the Irish custom, is you write your wish on your piece of paper, on your ribbon, on your fabric, and you tie it to a hawthorn tree. In times of Irish immigration, when a lot of people moved to the United States from Ireland, particularly during the big potato famine, Irish people brought that custom with them to America. And there weren't hawthorn trees, so they used whatever tree they could find. And in this book, the tree that they use is a red oak tree. And it's located in a kind of a working, what we call a working class neighborhood. It was full of people that immigrated to the United States from other countries. They had jobs, but they didn't make a lot of money at their jobs, so they're kind of poor. And they all lived together in this neighborhood that had been there for a very long time, with different, you know, every kind of generation. There's large numbers of immigrants that come from other countries, and it changes. Those countries change throughout time. For a while, it was Irish immigrants, Chinese immigrants, Italian immigrants. What we might see more now are immigrants from Central and Latin America, or we might see immigrants from the Middle East. We just recently, as we're filming this, we've had many people come to the United States from Afghanistan that were seeking a safe place to live. And that's mostly why people come to this country. They believe this is a safe place to live and a place where they can find jobs to make enough money to feed their family. So this book takes place in a neighborhood just like that, filled with people that have come from different countries. But the story is not told by the people in the neighborhood, it's told by the tree. This 200-year-old red oak tree named Red. And Red is going to tell us the story of what happens to him during this time period. He does not live alone. There are a lot of animals that live in the tree with Red. And at this time, his best friend is a crow named Bongo. And Bongo is sort of a negative Nelly. You know, Bongo always sees the worst, and Red's just the opposite. Red always sees the best in every situation. And when they're together, Red always has a joke to tell Bongo, and Bongo's always telling Red how bad his jokes are. They're so bad. So they have this great relationship, and there's all these animals that you follow that live in this tree. This is their home. Red is a little bit of a philosopher. He thinks a lot about the meaning of life and the meaning of time. He thinks a lot about what it means to have your roots down in the ground and stay in one place for 200 years. So he thinks a lot about life. He's a very reflective tree. Later, he's going to talk a little bit about death. What does it mean to die, especially after living for so long? So he thinks about a lot of things. And Katherine Applegate, if you read other of her books, she writes perfectly for young children, but with a lot of depth. She talks a lot about important things in her books. I love her writing. So what the action of this story is that there's a girl in her family that have moved into a house in the neighborhood, and they are not wanted. She wears a scarf around her head, and people make fun of her. And they also start throwing eggs at her house, and they tell her to go home, to leave. And there's another boy that lives next door to her, and his family, his parents are not friendly to her. Her name is Samira. And they're not mean, but they're not friendly, and they make her and her family feel unwelcome. And Samira's very lonely. So she goes at night after her family's gone to bed, she sneaks out of her house and she sits under Red. And she thinks about things. She thinks about life, and she thinks about being lonely. And she knows it's a wish tree, and she knows that May 1st is coming up and the whole community puts their wishes on oak. And she's thinking about what her wish would be. And her wish is to have a friend. Just to have a friend. And Red hears that, and Bongo hears it, and they try to figure out what they can do to help Samira have a friend. And I wanted to show you a little bit about this tree. I'm going to read a little bit to you. Whether draped, tossed, or tied with a bow, these wishes, they're all hopes for something better. After people write their hope on a rag or a piece of paper, they tie it onto one of my branches, and usually they whisper aloud. It's tradition to do it on the first day of May, but people stop by throughout the whole year. Oh my, the things I have heard. And can you see the tree with all the wishes tied to it? I've heard, I wish for a flying skateboard. I wish for a world without war. I wish for a week without clouds. I wish for the world's biggest candy bar. I wish for an A on my geography test. I wish my gerbil could talk. I wish my dad would get better. I wish I weren't hungry sometimes. I wish I weren't so lonely. I wish I knew what to wish for. So many wishes, grand and goofy, selfish and sweet. It's an honor, all the hopes bestowed upon my tired old limbs. And there's a picture of Bongo. You've seen Red, you've seen Bongo, and I tell you something else I really liked. Samira was really lonely, and Red and Bongo knew this, and there's a hollow in the tree where people leave things. In fact, once long ago, somebody left a baby there that someone in the neighborhood found and raised. But this is what Bongo and Red leave for Samira, because they know she's lonely. This is the hollow in Red's tree, and Bongo brings little gifts like a bow and a little car and a pen just for her. And they work really hard to see if they can figure out a way to bring Samira a friend. Maybe that lonely boy that lives with the unfriendly parents. And then eventually, the owner of the land decides that maybe having a 200-year-old tree is not such a good idea, and maybe it'd be better to cut this tree down. And that's sort of the hard part of the book. So you have to read it and find out what happens. Do they cut the tree down? Do they save it? Does Samira find a friend? Do the people in the neighborhood become a little nicer to her and her family? You'll just have to read this book and find out. WISHTREE by Katherine Applegate. Perfect read for Tree Week, perfect read for the fall. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Thanks for tuning in.